spooky. Look around, folks. Look around. Enjoy this because it happens once a year for the month of October. Jim.
It goes by so fast, Robert. It does.
It's because we love it.
I know.
It's
3 weeks, 2 weeks, then it's down to 1.
Yeah, so no, we're like, guys, this is our you know how some of you wait for Christmas every year? There's some Easter people too, right? Yeah. It's just like, where's the bunny suit? Yeah, but we're all about Halloween. And I mean, there's a full size coffin behind me. I mean, Jim just has this stuff laying around. That's what, it's amazing.
We just slowly, I always tell the joke is, here, I'll just show everybody. Oops, there we go.
There it is.
We show, there's our guests. And, but yeah, I always tell my students, hey, I got a coffin. They're like, what? Where'd you get? I go, yeah, I got it used. You know, it's
Craigslist.
like, they don't no, I got it used. Like, it's really, you know, they're like, what? Even the body's still in it. The body's still. So
anyway, if you guys like what we're doing, please subscribe, please share it. Talk about some of the stories we have going on here because we want to be able to share them with as many people as possible. You guys make this possible by subscribing, and we appreciate your support. Continue to watch, and we'll continue to bring you the most exciting, the most interesting, the most inspirational, and this month, the spookiest episodes possible.
Yeah, no.
How's my evil laugh? That was kind of weak.
It was all right, yeah. We still got.
I got to work on
30 or 28
do your evil
more
laugh.
days.
Let me hear your evil laugh. Oh, okay. Look, did you guys? That was good.
That was my normal laugh. What are you talking about?
So anyway, folks, we brought some people in this month. We got some people lined up, and
this guy got some stories.
Yeah. Well, the guy we got today's got some stories. So let's welcome him. Without further ado, Bruce Niels.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So you came all the way from Kalinga. So thank you.
Yes.
And you grew up in Kalinga.
No, actually, I grew up in Isuza, California.
Isuza, is that where all the
LA County,
activity happened that you could share with us today?
That's where my mom, where we actually grew up.
Okay. Yeah. So let's start with how you ended up in Isuza or where this place is.
Isuza is about 45 minutes east of LA.
Yes, Isuza Pacific College.
Yeah. It's actually.
I have a friend who played volleyball there.
Oh yeah. It's close to there. Yeah, it's right in that area. I grew up there. My parents bought a house in 1974. I've had that house since, and that's where I grew up.
That was your home for how many years?
A while. Like
your entire childhood.
Entire childhood into my adult years. I had some stuff going on, but I took care of my mom for a little while, and then. I eventually moved out because I got a job up here in Central Valley. So, I mean, I've been here for a while now, like 5-6 years now, I think.
Oh, okay. So not too long.
No.
So I want to start from your first paranormal experience when you first said, there's something going on in this house.
It was weird because I don't really remember there's so many encounters that I've had in that house. There was, I think the first one I can remember, it was actually my little brother who experienced it first.
By the way, who was in the house with you?
My mom, my dad, my 2 older brothers, and my older sister, and my younger brother. There was like 7 of us in the house.
Okay. Full house.
Yeah, it was full house. Everybody eventually moved out and whatever. And I kind of stayed to take care of my mom and everything. But,
how big was the place?
At the time when I was growing up, it was 3 bedroom, 1 bath. Okay. They remodeled in the early 90s, so it got remodeled into a 3 bedroom, 2 bath with a bunch of stuff. But it's like almost an acre property, so it was big.
And were you guys the first owners of this property?
No, there was another owner prior to that, but the house dates back to 1912, I think.
Oh, okay.
In the early 1900s.
So there's a lot of history of the home that you don't necessarily know.
From what I know, and I was telling Jim earlier, the house sat, which like I said, I don't know. I never really looked at the actual history of the house or the property, but from what my mom and my parents were telling me, that the house sits in an area where it used to be a bigger river. So my guess would be whatever was in that area was probably like people who back then drowned in that area, or people who just passed away in that area. So like
a lot of activity.
Yeah, a lot of activity.
Because
especially,
water draws life,
especially
right?
in the backyard. The backyard had a lot of activity. We had this one tree. It was like 12, 13 feet tall, and it eventually died because nobody was taking care of it, and it would still hold on to things. Like, it was weird. And then eventually cut it down, and my neighbor said, to my mom, hey, thanks for that, because now your guys' things are in our yard, you know? I was like, what? That's weird. Yeah, it was.
What do you
weird.
mean? What do you mean by things?
Ghosts.
Okay, all right, yeah.
I was like, yeah, thanks.
So
for
now
that.
your things are in his yard.
They
Oh.
wandered over to his property, which he moved out like some years after, but he was just like, yeah, thanks a lot, because now they're in our yard. I was like, oh.
Was there ever any commonality in the things that we're seeing? For example, like I've heard of stories where someone says, there's a little girl in his home, and then multiple people see the same entity. You have anything like that was like continuous?
You know what's weird is my brothers and my sisters never really said they saw anything. I think I was really the only one that saw most of it. I don't know if it's because like I had an open mentality towards it. But I've never really heard them. I know, like I said, my brother was the first one. My younger brother was the first one to see something, which he was like really young. He saw something in the hallway, freaked out, and came to my mom, and it was just he was like scared. You could visually tell he was scared. We didn't know what it was. He said he saw a man in a trench coat and a hat standing in the hallway, but nobody was there except for me and my younger brother because my mom and my dad both worked 2-3 jobs.
Yes.
And it was only really me, him, and my sister, and my older brothers were already at school. So like who would be there, and he was so scared. Like his face was basically like pale.
And I think a lot of times, and Jim, chime in if you know this as well. Sometimes what makes us buy in is the genuine reaction we're seeing from someone.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this person's really scared. So even if there isn't anything there, they clearly feel like they saw something that was real to them.
Yeah.
And so your brother's reaction probably sold it, right?
Oh, he was terrified for weeks. He would not go back into that room or into that area. He was so scared. He would sleep in the bed with my mom and my dad. He would not go back into that hallway for weeks, months, I think it was.
How did you feel when were you like, oh, I got to see it too, or I don't believe him? Like, what was your reaction?
I was more curious than anything because I was like, who was in the house? That doesn't make any sense. There was nobody there. Like, who would actually be in there? And then throughout after that, I would start seeing little things here and there. Like, there was one morning I was getting ready for school, and the bathroom door was like open up like maybe a few inches. You could just see into the hallway.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there getting ready, and then something caught my eye in the hallway, and I was like, what is that?
Like movement?
Yeah. I saw a little kid, like maybe 3-4 years old, running in the hallway. I was like, who's that? Like, what's going on here? I was like, who?
No way it was your brother.
No, because at the time, I think my brother was like 8, 9.
And this kid was clearly 3 or 4.
This kid was like toddler size.
Did he make any sound or?
No, he just ran in the hallway, ran past the hallway. And then again, a few other times, like there was that time I was just chilling in the living room, and I thought it was my sister coming in the hallway, or coming from the hallway into the living room. And what looked like she dug down behind the table.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is going on? What is this? Like, is she messing with me? Like, I thought she was playing a game. So I went to go look. She wasn't there. There was nothing there. Nothing on the ground, nothing under the table.
And where was your sister?
She was in bed sleeping.
Oh.
Because I went in to go check on her. I was like, did I wake you up? Or she was snoring. Like, I was like, wow, she must have been asleep for a while, because obviously it wasn't her. But it was weird because what I saw was like a girl with like pigtails.
Yeah.
She never wore pigtails, but I thought it was my sister.
Because it had to be, right?
Logically, it looked like a girl standing there, and I was like, what are you doing? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Like, did I wake you up? Nope. She was in bed asleep.
So here, I want to know if you pulled the movie move. Jim, tell me if you've seen this before. Like, it's early in the movie, right? This horror film. Mm-hmm. Somebody sees something extremely strange, right? They witness it and they go, "Oh, that was strange. I'm gonna tell no one." And they, you know what I mean? Like, they don't explore it. They don't mention it. They just go, that was weird. And they, like for me, and I don't know if it's a Mexican thing or whatever, but if I see something, everybody in the house is gonna know what I saw as soon as Mom, Dad, right? But in these movies, it's always like, oh, is that a demon under my bed? Oh no, I won't say anything. You know what I mean? Well, so did you tell people?
No. What is funny is my mom already knew about all this stuff.
So she was kind of like,
my mom already knew about stuff. Like she said there was a guy, an older gentleman that lived in the attic, and I never thought anything of it. I was just like, okay, well, there's really nobody there. really think of stuff when you're
Yeah.
like that.
And you're young.
Yeah. So one day, it was funny because she always used to say, "Do not leave the attic door open." It's one of those attics, you just push up the door and it's access
Like the stairs,
access.
ladder
We didn't
comes
have
down?
the stairs. It was just an access port for the attic.
Oh, okay.
And no stairs or anything. You had to use a ladder to get up there, but nobody ever went up there. So one day, my older brother leaves the attic open, and all of a sudden, you hear things getting thrown, stuff getting like knocked over. We had this door that went to a pantry to the back to the access to the other 2 rooms that were in the house, and the door had one of those levers. It looked like a lever, and one night the door handle just kept rattling back and forth, like it just kept going up and down. I was like, "What is going on here?"
And you could see it visually happening.
Visually see it, and my mom was like, "Oh, it's probably someone just left the attic door open." I was like, "Are you serious right now?" Like, you're just so calm.
Yeah, like how does this connect?
Yeah, but yeah, every time someone would leave the attic door open or the access port, the guy would come down. He'd get really upset, throw things around. There was this, those big totes.
Yeah.
One of them got thrown across the back room, and it ended up from the door to the pantry where everything was. A good about 10 feet.
And your mom's just like, hey,
Yeah, but
guys, close the door.
Yeah, and there was nobody back there.
Why do you think she was so like nonchalant about the whole thing?
Honestly, I don't know, but a lot of the things that were happening, they never wanted to hurt us. I feel like they never wanted to hurt us.
More Casper
more like
than Insidious.
Oh yeah. But there was one time that I did see something like it did freak me out a little, and it was more so when I was I want to say like 12 years ago. I was up at night late and I couldn't sleep. So I was up in my room, and right next to my TV, there was a sliding door that went into the backyard. And I'm just sitting there. It was a nice, cool day. It was like fall. So I had my window open and everything, the door. I was just chilling. It was starting to get daylight. And I was like, whatever, I'm not get tired. So I didn't want to go to sleep. All of a sudden, this red dress just floats by the room door. I was like, what is going on? I was like, you know what? I think it's time to go to bed.
No body?
No body. All you see is a red dress from about shoulder all the way down. And it went from one side to the other, but if you go outside the door, there was 2 floral areas where my mom liked to put her plants and stuff. So
It's outside.
Yeah, this was outside, right outside the sliding door.
Yeah.
And there was no way someone could have walked right past it. Yeah.
So
that was the worst one.
It's so I know a lot of people don't know who I am as far as my skepticism and all that stuff, right? You could easily
They know
say,
you now. It's been 2 years.
You could say the wind was blowing maybe one of the potter plant plastic bags that was there. I mean, I'm not saying anything. But Robert, you made a good point. You were saying the Mexican culture or there's Mexican in the house type of thing. That plays a big part of belief and some of this in some
Like
of these
giving it
roles.
energy?
Yeah, or just I don't mess with watching Japanese or or those
The
type
Grudge?
of those scary movies
Yeah.
in Japanese
Oh,
culture
yeah.
and stuff. Nah, those I anything else? I watched La Llorona the other day.
La Llorona? Yeah.
Nah, didn't even. I was like,
Why does the Japanese get to you?
I think it's because I'm not used to it. I'm used to the Hispanic culture, and I'm used to
Cutler, California.
Yeah, and I was telling him earlier. I said I am a skeptic because I've seen only a few things, but not enough to convince me. Because I'm more like, okay, what could have happened that made that I could debunk it, type of thing. But I love it. I'll still watch scary movies and scary, paranormal stuff all the time. Just even though I know that they've been accused as being fake, it's like I'll still watch it. So, but anyway, I think culture. I think how you've grown up. I think like stories that you would like. For example, this scared me one time when I was a little kid. My grandma got a phone call. No, I was in Arkansas. But visiting with my cousins. Yeah. And my cousin she pulled the hot pan of water, like it was boiling water. She was up close enough to where she pulled it, and the water spilled and burned her arm. My grandmother, who lived here in town in California, called my aunt and said, "Is Renee's arm okay?"
What?
That freaks me out.
Wow.
That stuff freaks me out. She felt it. She felt that there was something, that somebody in the family got injured.
Yeah.
And she had called and said, "Yeah, we're she's fine. Everything's fine." How did you know that that's what happened? Oh, I felt it.
Wow.
That stuff trips me out.
Like clairvoyance, maybe, or just connected.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think some of us have that with our children, right? Because we're so close to them. I've randomly called children friends. Well, I think part of mine is the whole prayer thing. You know, when you're praying, you feel connected to things. And then when people are struggling,
Yeah.
I've made the random call. I'm not that specific to say, "Hey, what's wrong with your arm?" But yeah, I'd be like, "Hey, I'm feeling something from you." And they're like, "Well, as a matter of fact."
Yeah.
So, but never like that specific.
Yeah. Well, there's what I've been looking and this is just my kind of opinion about it. I've always like had that feeling, like if you're open-minded to it.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have that open mindset. You know, you can believe it, you know, but if you actually don't have that open mindset to want to believe it, maybe you don't see it.
Like your siblings.
Yeah. Like I don't ever remember them ever saying like something happened. My mom
Yeah.
knew all about it, you know, and to this day, like she can attest to most of these things that happened in the house, you know.
And your little brother.
My little brother only saw it a few times, but like as much as I've ever seen him,
Yeah.
like I don't think my family has ever seen it more. My dad was a skeptic as well. Like he didn't believe any of this until one night we were sitting in the living room and he comes running in, and he's a darker gentleman.
He
Like,
was in the backyard.
Yeah, he was in the backyard doing something. He used to like to go feed the dogs and the cats.
Was the
and
tree up? The
no,
tree you're talking
you know
about?
what? I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
Okay.
Because he passed away back in 2008 and stuff. But this was well before that. He was in the backyard doing something, and then he just comes in, and it was dark. It was nighttime. He came in paler than a freaking sheet, and I was like, "Bro, like, what's going on with you?" You know? He's like, "I just saw something back there. I don't know what it was." I was like, "Well, welcome to the club, buddy." Like, I don't know what to tell you. You know?
What did your mom say?
She was kind of laughing. She was like, "Yeah, he's back there." I mean, we all, like, my mom and me pretty much knew that there was stuff going on back there. We just didn't address it because it's kind of like that thing where if you put the negative energy out, like I feel like if you put the negative energy out there, it's going to be negative, you know? And
Yeah.
like I was saying, like most of the time it was never a problem. Like we never got hurt. We never like, other than the guy that was throwing stuff around in the back room. Like, I mean,
The guy from the attic.
yeah, the gentleman from the
Did you guys
attic,
ever name them?
Honestly, no. We never named them.
There's Joey again.
Yeah, I would tell my mom, "Hey, I saw this person." "Oh yeah, don't worry." She's like, "I saw him too." I was like, "Oh, okay, well, whatever."
Wow.
Yeah, as soon as you name them, they're family.
Yeah.
They stay there.
Yeah, I'm like,
No, I'm not naming any of them.
my sons at the time, they were like 4 and 5 years old. We were staying in this yellow house, and they kept talking about the witch, right? What are you my wife, apparently, she saw it. And I was like, I never saw anything.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
I don't know. I was more like your siblings. I don't know if I was skeptical, I guess. I didn't see anything, but they were talking about the witch. And then my wife was like, I saw what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I was like, time to move. Moving on.
You saw it. You didn't see it?
I didn't see it ever. But she was confirming what they were describing at the time. And I was like, yep, let's go. Lease is up. I don't hang out.
Time
I don't
to
think I
go.
hang out long enough to see anything.
Oh, hard pass. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. So as you were growing up, did the frequency of these incidents increase?
It just varied really. Like there was a lot of times where I would just start seeing things out the corner of my eye. You know, it was just stuff moving around, or
Yeah.
like I would put something here and somehow it ended up over here. You know, like I'm like, okay, well maybe I moved it, but I couldn't remember. You know, it was
Yes.
odd. You know, but there was a lot. I mean, like I said, it wasn't like super scary or anything. To me, it wasn't scary anyway. I mean, a lot of people I would talk to about it, they're like, "Oh my god, I would move out in an instant." And I was like,
Right here.
"Oh,
This guy.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I've seen things where it does happen where it gets really scary, but in that house, there's never really a worry that I felt that needed to happen. And the only time that I really ever felt worried was that time that I saw that red dress float by. That was the only,
red.
that was like, yeah,
lady
no,
in red.
I'm good. I'm gonna go to bed now. I think it's time for me to go to sleep.
So I have a theory, right? And Jim, chime in if you've heard about this, but you hear about people who have had near-death experiences or actually have passed away, right, for seconds or moments. With right now with medical technology, right, we can resuscitate, we can bring you back. But it's like once you've gone to the afterlife and you come back, there's this theory that maybe you're more connected spiritually to what's the unseen. So you had an incident.
I've been curious about that because I did have something.
Can you share about that?
Sure. In end of July 2022, I was on my way to work to Coalinga, and I was on my motorcycle just cruising along. It was like probably around 6 in the morning, somewhere around there. I got into a bad accident. Guy ended up turning left in front of me. Ended up breaking my femur in half, my right femur. Ended up fracturing 4 ribs and 4 toes. And they ended up taking me to the hospital to Visalia. And then I got treated that day. And, they had to run tests and everything, go over everything. And my brother had come up to see me that afternoon, like late in the afternoon, because it happened early in the morning. He came up after he had heard about the accident. So he came up to see me. And he didn't stay that long, but I was in the emergency room. Like I was in the ICU. So there,
Were you conscious for all this, or?
I was in and out because I think in the ride over there, I think either the pain got to me or whatever it was, but I was in and out of it for most of it. I remember them waking me up to tell me that they were going to put a rod in my leg. So now I have a rod from my knee to my hip, but I don't really remember. I remember things here and there, and then they woke me up to, do everything. And then they had to intubate me. So I had tubes down my throat. And then that afternoon they took him out because I was fine. I was doing better and whatever. So my brother ended up coming, my younger brother came to visit me, and he stayed there for a little bit. He stayed until about 11:30 at night. Like he was like there off and on. And he left. He actually, because I had my phone with me. My girlfriend came to drop off my phone and everything, so I can talk to everybody to make sure I was okay and everything. And she didn't bring my charger, so my brother went to go get a charger really quick. So he came by, and then after he left, I was dozing off in and out, and I don't really remember a whole lot. So at one point, I remember, and this is the funny part, because when I say this story, or this part of the story, my girlfriend says none of it happened, which is weird. So to me, what happened was the nurse came in and told me, hey, we need to go get you x-rays for your shoulder because the doctor wants to see, your shoulder to see how bad it is. And I was like, okay, fine. So I remember signing a waiver. Remember them putting me on the gurney to go to get the x-rays. Well, I remember the last thing I remember was the back of the gurney dropped, and then everything went dark. Yeah, it was weird. I in my head, I'm like, what is going on? So everything around me just went dark and then quiet. And then all of a sudden, everything around me was white. Like everything. It looked like I was surrounded in sheets and, whatever, but everything was just bright white. And then off in the distance, like I can see like a little shadow coming, like standing off in the distance. It freaked me out because I didn't know what the heck was going on, So I was like, oh, whatever. As it got closer, I wake up. And next thing I know, doctor's at the foot of my bed, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, "What? Why is there tubes back down my throat?" I was so confused. And he goes, first words out of his mouth were, "You coded."
Oh.
And I was like, "Wait, what? Like, what are you talking about?" Like, I obviously couldn't say anything, but I was like, "Huh?" Like, my eyes were like, "What?" And the second he said that, I could feel they did CPR in my chest because I could feel the pressure, from them doing the compressions. And I was like, what happened? Like, why did I code? And he said, your heart gave out and you were gone. He said they worked on me for like 4 minutes.
So for 4 minutes?
4 minutes I was gone. But which is weird because it happened right after midnight. They said it happened at like 12:20 or something like that. I can't remember the exact time, but I know it was right after midnight. But I woke up at like 8 o'clock in the morning when the doctor came to do his rounds. And I was like, what's going on? And then after that, they they were checking in, they were doing neuro checks on me and everything. And then after a few hours, they wanted to make sure that I was okay. So they took the tubes back out my throat. And my girlfriend was sitting with me for a while. And then she's like, you know, are you okay? You know, what's going on? And then I forgot, someone came in. I don't remember who it was. And like I said, I was kind of in and out of it. But I remember someone coming in and talking to me. And they're like, you know, are you okay? I was like, yeah. I go, the last thing I remember. And then I told them the story. And my girlfriend looked at me puzzled. She goes, what? I go, what? Why are you looking at me like that? You know? She goes, that never happened. She goes, you never left the ICU. They never did any of that to you. The nurse said that they were doing the compressions on your chest, but they never left the room.
No X-ray or
no
gurney?
X-ray, no nothing. So my question is, what hallway was I going down?
Oh.
And to make this even weirder, 3 days before the accident, I had a dream about a funeral. I remember seeing a funeral, you know, and I remember I saw my sister, I saw my siblings, and I remember seeing a hearse. And I was like, what is going on? I thought something happened with my mom, because at the time my mom wasn't, you know, living with me, but you know, she was down south, you know, living at her house. And I called her and asked her, is everything okay? You know, like, are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. Everything's fine. I was like, okay. After the accident, she called me and she said, you know what that dream was about, right?
Oh, she
and I
remembered.
said, holy crap. I was like, yeah, I saw my own funeral, basically.
Wow.
So there's a thing that's going around in my head, like, did I actually make it? Because there was a comedian I saw once. He said, we know we exist. Past that is open to interpretation.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like,
Bumper
so
sticker.
I know, right? So did I actually survive? Like, is this all real? Like, I'm out there. And
Yeah.
it was funny because I had this conversation with one of my coworkers, and she goes, yeah, but I see you. And I was like, yes, you see me, but I can't understand what you're seeing because I see you. You know what I mean? Like, it's that perception. Like,
Yeah.
I know that you see me, but I see only you. I can't see what you're seeing. So yeah, you may see me, but I only see what's in front of me right now. So it's open to interpretation. Like, am I really here? And even the comedian said, you know, I know right now I'm standing in front of 10,000 people, but I could be, for all I know, standing in front of a wall in a mental institution.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It's like the Matrix.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
do we really know? And I've always been tempted of testing the theory about, like you said, like, if you experience it, are you open even more? And I have noticed a few things in the house that I'm living in now, and I've noticed a few things, and even before that, I did notice a few things, but I feel like it's a little bit heightened a little bit more, but I haven't had a chance to test it out yet.
So going back to the moment where everything was white,
Yeah.
is that memory clear to you?
Yeah. Everything about that whole experience was still.
So I want to
clear
explore the afterlife vision. You're in the gurney, and do you see? Is there anyone pushing it, or it's just all white around you?
The last thing I remember about being on the gurney was, like I said, them taking me down this hallway, and the nurse was like, there was a nurse like right here.
Yeah.
That was the last thing I saw. Last thing I saw visually, you know.
And then
being on the
everything went white.
Then everything got dark and then quiet with that, and that's what like really freaked me out, because everything was just like quiet. There was no sound, no nothing. So that's what freaked me out the most about it. And then all of a sudden, I'm seeing white in front of me. I'm like, what's going on? I look everywhere around me is nothing but white.
And then you saw a shadow.
Yeah, the shadow. It was like off in the distance. It looked like it was like kind of far away.
Was it a silhouette of a man, woman, or?
I couldn't really tell. And my first thought was, who is this? And why am I in this white room? Like, what is going on? So, like, the person came up. It was getting closer, but I still couldn't see, like, any features or anything. But all I could see was, like, a silhouette. That's all I could really see.
Any theories about?
I talked to someone about this at one point, and they said it could have been Jesus. I mean, it's a theory, but I'm not sure. Like, I couldn't get enough of it to see who it was, you know, honestly. And there was nobody else around him. There was nothing else in the area. All I saw was just the shadow off in the distance.
You're part of a rare population of people who can say, you know, I've seen what I believe to be a different place and come back from it.
Yeah.
You know, everyone else potentially who's seen that they don't come back to share.
Yeah.
It's interesting when you because I've heard other people's stories, and there's always that white light, all these other things. Let me ask you one question though. When you said you talked to somebody about this already, did you see yourself as a third person? Did you see yourself walking in the light, or were you seeing it subjectively through your eyes?
No, I was seeing it through my eyes.
So there's I don't know the name of what I'm trying to explain.
Astral projecting?
Is it astral projecting? Yeah, because there's something where you could see yourself in a dream, or you're seeing you through your eyes in the dream. And I always use this term in my Halloween month is crazy in my classroom. Subjectively, shots are seen through the subject's eyes, right? It's like or POV types, theory in video games. And so I always tell the kids, I tell a story on how a person, you are walking down the street, you see a door, open in this really dark, gloomy house. You make yourself go up to the house, you open the door, you walk down the hallway, and so on. So as I'm telling this story, I'm creeping up to the point to where they go into the bathroom and they look and they see themselves in the mirror, and then they open the medicine cabinet, and then they close the medicine cabinet, and bam, I slam my hand on the desk and I scare everybody. And they get all freaked out. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. And I'm like, well, what did you see? And they're like kind of quiet, because I always tell them, did you see yourself in the mirror, or did you at that moment get jumped and scared because that's usually the scary movies where there's someone behind you. But I always ask them, when we do this experiment, did you see yourself, or were you seeing it through your own eyes?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
To see how
were you outside of it,
yes,
watching it
are
happen?
you watching yourself through the story, or are you looking at it through your eyes? And there is always one a year that sees themselves walking into a house. They see themselves
like a separate camera.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's rare that a kid could do that, or like anybody, has that perspective.
Yeah.
Their mind is different in that way.
I know he made a movie about this script that we wrote in our creative writing class, and he did the ultimate point of view where it was a clown story, right? So he had the clown mask, and you're watching the camera through the eyes.
Through the eyes, yeah.
That
Mask.
was
Yeah.
I got props there, Jim.
Subjective.
Do we have any applause for that one?
Yeah,
Some
I'll
shout
give you
out.
some right there. Yeah.
Great angle. So, Bruce, after the near-death experience, you get out of the hospital. You're now in Kalinga at this point?
At the time, I was living in Hanford.
Hanford.
Yeah.
Was there any visions there? Any activity after?
Not really. I mean, it was more so like I was on a lot of, not like painkillers, but like I was going through a lot of pain. So like I wasn't sleeping very well. I wasn't, right mindset either. Like it really affected me because having an accident that rough, because I was on my motorcycle and I slammed right into a dude at like 40 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Getting thrown off especially. And what was going through my mind was that whole incident. For months and months and months, I was just scared of falling asleep because I didn't know if I was going to survive, because I do have severe sleep apnea as well. So like that's a good chance of me stopping, and dying as well. So I was, with that in my head, and then with everything else, I was just freaked out. Like I couldn't really get any sleep. I had actually talked to a therapist a few times, which I didn't think really helped, but more so accepting what happened was more so me moving on from it, because I still think about it,
It was a traumatic event.
Yeah, it was so traumatic. And to me, I came from a place, my mom especially was raised Roman Catholic. So they're super, spiritual and everything. So I didn't really grow up in that. Like I didn't really believe in that either. So like I was on the outside kind of seeing just everything, and I didn't believe in, really religion and all that stuff. Like, I mean,
Afterlife.
I didn't really think about any of that until that happened. In the last few years, I've gotten more religious and like super religious. Like
More
I still
connected spiritually?
more connected to what's going on around me. And that was a big eye opener for me. Like that was huge in changing my life, because experiencing that was just scary. You you don't really think about death until it happens, or until it happens to someone close to you.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the things I always think about is, yeah, tomorrow could be my last day, you know, or any day it could be my last. And growing up, I never really thought about it. You always think, you know, through your 20s, 30s, whatever, you're invincible. You can't, you know, you have until your 70s or whatever. They always tell you, wait till you're 70. You don't have that long. We don't. We really don't have a whole lot of time on this planet, you know, and one day it could be your last. You never know, you know, and that really woke me up, you know. So
Yeah.
a lot more lately, I've been just thinking about, you know, what's going to happen. You know, I'm just trying to get through a day, you know. I don't really think about tomorrow. I really don't think about next week. I mean, yeah, I have plans, but I don't really think about it. Like I just carry on my day like, okay, well, I got to get this done today. If I get it done, okay, cool. If not, you know, there's always maybe tomorrow.
Do you still ride?
I want to. I had a few setbacks this last few years, so I do have a motorcycle that's sitting in my driveway, but it doesn't run because when I moved to Hanford the first year, some dude tried to steal it. So it needs work.
You've had a couple years here.
Well, and there's a couple signs too to probably not get another bike running.
Well, I mean, I love riding. Like
Yeah.
it was like, and it was funny because the whole experience before it happened, I was smiling. I was having a good day. You know, it was going to be my last day for the week. So I had like 4 days off. I had plans to go up to like Yosemite, just kind of chill and relax. And no, it changed in an instant, you know, and
Yeah.
that's what really scares the crap out of me is like one instant. And they always say, you know, 1 second changes your life. And that was my 1 second, you know.
So fast.
Yeah, it happened so fast because all I was doing was trying to get to work, you know, to make the day go by and then just go home and relax. No, yes, things were planned differently for that day, you know. So it was like I said, it was an eye opener for me.
So now that you've had a near-death experience, you've had a lifetime of paranormal activity. There's a very rare, you know, life that you've lived. What kind of advice could you give someone out there who's not gone through any of these things and is maybe reflecting on their own life?
Well, I mean, honestly, I would say do what you can now. I mean,
Don't wait.
Yeah, don't wait to do anything that you're trying to put off, you know. Like I said, we don't have very long on this planet. We could die tomorrow. We could die in our sleep. We could die at any point in time. You know, the human body is so fragile, you know. It takes one little thing to make, you know, your heart stop, you know. So I would say if you're looking at your life right now, just do the best you can and try to make yourself a better person. Try to, you know, help someone out that needs it, you know, talk to people if you need help. You know, that's a big thing nowadays is like there's so many, you know, mental health things going on. We don't talk to each other at times. And I've been doing my best to talk to whoever needs help or whatever, but, you know, you can only do so much, you know. And for someone who's in a really bad place, I mean, talk about it, you know, have that connection with somebody, you know, because we're bred to have human emotions and feelings and, you know, having a connection with someone. So having any type of connection to anybody is helpful, you know. And going through what I've gone through, it was scary, but it opened my eyes to a lot. And like I said, it's just, you got to be there for someone, you know. You don't know how very long. Tell someone you love them, you know, especially your family, because you don't know. Especially on a motorcycle, people who ride, they don't know if it's going to be their last ride or not, you know. And I always advocate for, you know, safety riding and all that stuff, but, you know, there's people that don't pay attention. You know, like the guy that I hit, basically, he was making a left turn. He wasn't paying attention, you know, and it sucks, but it's what I had to learn, I guess, in that moment, you know, is there's nowhere really safe, and you just have to make the best of your day.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Now, what about for the skeptics who would say, I don't know, Bruce, did you really see that stuff, or was it?
Well, I would say if you're a skeptic, I mean, that you're more than welcome to believe, you know, however you feel, but try to have a more open mind, I guess, to things, because you honestly don't know what's out there. You know, we don't have the slightest idea of what's out in the universe, you know, unless you're out there every day doing stuff and, you know, interacting with people and, you know everything in the world, you know, you don't know anything about what's out there in life. You know, anything
Yeah.
can happen the next day. You, like they say, you learn something new every day. You know, so keep an open mindset. That's all. You know, that's all I can really think about, because people who are skeptic, like my dad, he was skeptic for a long time about paranormal stuff. Then one day he saw one. Like, he got so scared, like he was pale. You know, and because he didn't have an open mindset. And then after that, I think he had a little bit more of an open mindset, but he was still pretty skeptic.
Wow.
You know.
And so, for anyone who may have an encounter or a vision, it seems like you handle it fairly well in terms of like not freaking out and stuff. What would you advise someone who's in the middle of a paranormal activity experience?
I mean, from what I've seen, and I watch a lot of YouTube and stuff like that. I watch, you know, all those paranormal things, and it doesn't, to me, a lot of the times, a paranormal encounter to me has never been scary, only because I have an open mindset and I don't really feel like it's, you know, gonna hurt me. Because the whole theory is, you know, they can't hurt us. If you're scared, then yeah, it's gonna feed that energy. Anything negative like that is gonna be negative energy. Like, there's a few things that if you do have a negative energy, it feeds off of that.
Yeah.
You know, that, like demons and stuff like that. You know, they always feed off that stuff supposedly. So, like, don't be scared. You know, just focus. Don't let it scare you. You know, take a deep breath. Just relax. It's not going to hurt you. You know, unless it's throwing things at you, then maybe run. You know, but honestly, I don't see anything really hurting people. Like, even the things I've seen on YouTube and stuff, like the ghost encounters, paranormal activity, it never really hurts someone. Maybe there's an occasional one, you know, but generally they don't really. I don't feel like they hurt anybody. You know.
So you would say just stay calm and
just stay calm, relax. They're not there to hurt you. To me, they're just a wandering spirit, you know, trying to...
More Casper than anything.
Yeah, more Casper. They don't really want to do anything. They're just trying to do it. And there's some instances where, like, they're angry spirits because probably something happened to them, like a traumatic experience or something like that. Because there's a few theories, like, I don't know if you saw, there's this one kid, I think it's in New York, or something happened. I don't remember the whole story, but the kid remembers dying in 9/11.
What?
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like, I saw this.
Yeah, I've seen this.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, he's reincarnated.
Yeah, supposedly reincarnated. He remembers everything that happened to him that day on 9/11.
But this boy was never there.
He was born after.
He was born after 9/11.
Yeah. So like he could point fingers at the people that were there, the pictures and everything. Yeah, I've seen this documentary. Yeah. It's trippy. It's like reincarnated.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's so many theories about reincarnation and all that stuff. So I mean, I don't know what to believe, honestly. Like, I'm just a human being. I'm trying to get through my day, you know, like we all are. You know, and I mean, whatever you believe in, great, you know, but just keep an open mind.
I feel that about you when I first met you and we're just hanging out and stuff. It's like Bruce is just living. Like, he's in the moment, you know, and that's what I get from you is like, you're in the moment because this is all that's guaranteed is this right here, right now.
Yep.
And so you're taking it for all that it's worth.
Yep. And I took advantage of that before, because beforehand, all he was doing for the first, since I was 18, I'm now 45, about to be 46, you know, for the first few years of my life, for most of it anyway, all I did was work. You know, my parents both had 2-3 jobs working up, so that was my my kind of inspiration or mindset, basically, to work. You know, get through everything, make a living, whatever. You know, and I took advantage of that. Like, I worked
took
a
it
lot.
for granted a little bit.
I seriously took it for granted.
So I got tomorrow.
Yeah, I got next week. You know, I can just do this next week. I got it. You know, don't worry about it. But no, things like that will change you fast, because again, all I did was work. I put the place that I'm working now. I worked there the first 3 years I worked there. All I was doing was working. Didn't take a day off. Even when I was supposed to take a day off, I was sitting there doing stuff. You know, trying to focus on other things. That's all I was doing. And now I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that anymore. Like, I'm gonna
enjoy life.
I'm gonna enjoy life. I'm gonna enjoy whatever I got left. You know, because like I said, we don't know how long we got.
Right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just take a day at a time, and just don't even worry about it. Don't sweat the small stuff. There was a saying, is if it doesn't matter in an hour, it's not gonna matter later on. I kind of shortened it and I said, you know what? If it doesn't matter in 5 minutes, if it's not going to make a difference in 5 minutes, it's not going to matter later in life. You know, if it makes me angry now, okay, I'll deal with it, but I'm just going to let it go after 5 minutes.
Life's too short.
Life's way too short.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Bruce.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And I know, sometimes it's difficult to share some of these traumatic things, but you seem very comfortable with where you are in life now.
Oh, yeah. I like to share a lot of stuff, like a lot with my coworkers and stuff. People who are open and willing to talk to it, because like a lot of skeptics, they don't want to talk about it, and they're just afraid of it. I'll be watching like a YouTube video or whatever, and people are like, why are you watching that? It's so scary. I'm so scared of it. I'm like, why? Like, why are you scared of things? If you have that mindset of being scared all the time, you're not going to push through life. You're just going to be scared of everything, and what has taught me in the last few years, especially, like, all you got to do is you just got to do it, because you can't sit there and be scared of everything.
Can't move in fear.
Exactly. There's no room for sitting here being afraid all the time.
Yeah.
Just do it. Who cares? If it scares you, okay, fine. Get over it and then move on.
Heard directly from the man who's faced death. Thank you, Bruce Niels, for being here.
No, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate
Of course, yeah. Jim, this is beautiful, man, the setup.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's awesome. I like it.
It's awesome.
It's a lot of work, so we got to put it in.
We put it
use
work.
it.
Make the use of it. We're going to keep going with you guys. So if you enjoyed what you saw today, we got plenty more coming in October. Hopefully some more stories. But Bruce kicked it off real strong with a life and death situation and multiple visions. So thank you guys for watching. From Bruce Niels, from Jim Chance, myself, Rob Scared Jr., we're saying love, peace, and chicken grease. We out.